Hello, welcome back. We are on episode 8, Sister Confessions. We're recording early here. I don't know when you guys are watching it, but it's hot. So, well, it's hot in California and all across the country. It's summertime and there's like massive, incredible heat waves. And I'm on vacation. I'm staying at our cousin's cabin up in Amish country here in Ohio. We've been here for the weekend. So it was my husband's birthday on Thursday, and we came here Friday for the weekend, and it has been delightful. It's a beautiful view, but I don't want to move my computer because it was a debacle to set it up with lighting and everything. So just trust me, it's a beautiful view over here and we're on vacation. How are you doing over there?
Good. It's actually I got up super early, 5 o'clock, to meet with you with the time difference, and it's cloudy.
It's not.
It feels like October right now. It's cloudy and there's a bunch of crows. Uh I don't know what's going on, but it's cloudy. I'll take it
Yes.
because yesterday it was 100 degrees.
What's it
So
supposed to be today?
100.
Okay. Ugh,
Now it's 70
nice.
and it's six
Beautiful.
in the morning.
It's crazy. It's beautiful here. We're up in well, Ohio doesn't really have mountains. We're up in I don't know where we're at
The
in the
wood.
yeah, we're in the woods.
It looks like the wood.
Yes, it's beautiful. I do want to talk a little bit about vacation. So it's an interesting thing, vacations. We try so in 2021, I think it was 2021, we bought a travel trailer because we wanted to be able to go. First of all, our son was, I don't know, 14, 15. And we're like, we want to contain him and we want to like travel and go to different places. Just moving to Midwest and we want to explore East Coast and all these areas. So we wanted to go and travel and explore. And so we're really great about taking weekends off and camping and stuff. Super hard for vacations with kids. Like you have super small kids. Do you guys go on vacation?
We went on our first vacation for New Year's, and this past New Year's 2022 to 2023. We went to the mountains and to go to the snow. We stayed in a hotel, but it was like a cabin type
Mhm.
hotel, and the kids loved it. I was exhausted.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
Like going on vacation with little kids is just the same thing. It's not a vacation for the parents. It's just the same thing in a different city.
No. Yeah, well, and even more so because you're not home where you have everything. You got to make sure you bring everything,
Yeah.
the just in case stuff. You never know what's gonna happen. My son gets car sick, so I think he was okay on the drive up, but once we got to the hotel, he was vomiting all night. I thought he had the flu
Yeah.
because um it wasn't in the car. I think it was just all the motion, and then once it finally stopped, he was sick all night. Um, yeah. So, and then my daughter was 1 at the time, so that was interesting chasing her around everywhere. But I remember us as children going camping a lot. I think every summer we did something, right?
Tent camping.
And those are great memories.
Yeah. Great
Yeah. So
memory.
I want to great memories. So And I love the idea of getting an RV and just let's go somewhere. It's the weekend. Let's just go somewhere. So they're not at home all the time, vegging out on their electronics or whatever. I love that idea. I love to do that sometime.
Yes, we've loved it too. And interesting about that because um in California, our family, JR's, my husband's parents had a cabin up in the mountains. It was like an hour and a half away. And so any weekend we'd have off, we would go, well, any weekend where there wasn't stuff going on, we'd go up to the cabin. It was like our getaway. It was it's beautiful there and we loved it, but it also, we just always went to the cabin and we didn't explore other areas in California or things like that. Like that was the hub and that's where we spent our weekend. So this time, actually, whenever Jared's cousin bought this cabin that we're at now, he had propositioned JR and it was said, "Do you want to go in on it?" And we talked about it. Like it's beautiful to be able to have a cabin and property to go to, but we already had that in California and that's where we went on our time off. And so instead of investing in cabin and property, we said, no, we're going to buy a travel trailer so we can go. And we've been to the Outer Banks, we've been to Myrtle Beach, we've been to campgrounds all around here. And yeah, it's been nice to be able to just pack up and go. And yeah, we love it. Um, hey, speaking about
Do
your
your kids
son,
help?
help with what?
Yeah.
Everything?
Oh, they're older now. Do they help with I don't know, packing the RV or how does
Um,
that go with older kids?
that is a great question. Right, because with you, you have to do everything, right? Like you have to pack everything. Yes, they do help. We do all the food and we do all the packing of the towels and the first aid and the dishes, all that stuff. They pack their own stuff. Funny thing, when we went on vacation, we went on vacation. I think it was like, I was talking to you on the phone actually. It was like 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. I was talking to you on the phone and I was telling you we're going to Myrtle Beach, and my son was probably 12 or 13 at the time. And he was like, I'm going to pack myself. I'm like, okay, that's fine. And you're like, you let him do that? And I'm like, he said he's going to do it. Do you remember this? You said he's going to do it. Then that's
I
fine.
do.
I didn't check anything. We got to Myrtle Beach and my son's like, I forgot to pack underwear. We were like, well, so we went to Walmart and bought him a pack of underwear and we're like, this is your souvenir. Like that's it. You get underwear as a souvenir for Myrtle Beach. So no, my kids do a great job packing themselves and I do check it. And he does ask me, after he packs everything, he's like, hey, can you check it? And just to make sure. He actually just went to he just got back yesterday. My son is 16 now, and he went on a week-long vacation with his girlfriend and her family to the Outer Banks. So they had a family reunion, and they rented a house right on the beach, and they were there for a week. And oh my gosh, there's so many things about this. Like my 16-year-old's going on vacation with his girlfriend and her family. We love her parents, and but we don't know, there was 50 people. We don't know the other people. I mean, I'm sure they were all amazing, but we don't know. And my boy's super adventurous, and I'm like, what if, he hurts himself or and I'm not there? And so that was a really big deal to kind of let go. It's such a crazy thing when you have teenagers, or I guess that's our job all along, is to like prepare them for independence and prepare them.
Yeah.
We do have to let them go, and I'm not ready to let go. So it was we met with her parents a couple days before they left, and we just wanted to get on the same page about everything, about what their boundaries are. I mean, they're 16 and 17-year old, they've been dating for like a year. We want to make sure that we were all on the same page. And so he just got home yesterday, but we were here at the cabin, so I didn't even get to see him. So he stayed home alone last night at the house, and it's hard having older kids.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's hard, but vacations are super important to us. Getaways, but I feel like that's not really the majority in America. Like, it's all the grind. People don't take, and vacations
Yeah.
can be expensive too. Like, they can be or they don't
Right.
have to be. It just depends on what kind of vacation it is. I don't know. Thoughts about that?
So for you to go to this cabin, this is family, so they're not charging you.
Oh,
Is that correct?
yeah, correct. So my husband helped build the cabin. He did all the electrical work. He worked a ton on the cabin. So our cousin was like, you guys have sweat equity. You can use the cabin anytime. So it is, we get to come here anytime and use it, which we appreciate.
Wow.
Yes, you should come to
I didn't know
Ohio.
he helped build it. Wow.
Yes, he helped with the flooring and electrical work. He was showing me as we went because
Yeah.
I haven't been here before. This is my first time. He's been up here dozens of times to help build it. Um, yeah, you need to come to Ohio. Sister confession, I've lived here 5 years, and Michelle has not come to
Yes.
visit Ohio, although I've been to
No.
visit her multiple
Yes.
times.
So, yeah.
But I do have to say, when I come to visit you, it was you were birthing children to help photo shoot. Like, you have little kids, and it's hard. It's hard traveling with little kids. It's, yeah, a trip across the country is a big thing. So you're off the hook. I'm not mad about it.
I'll have to come, and we'll have to record a episode, and I'll make it a thing like that so I could come um without kids.
Love it.
But I don't want that. I want my kids. I want my, our children to. Yeah, I know yours are a lot older than mine, but they're still cousins.
Yeah. Well,
and
that's 2
and your
visits. So
daughter and my daughter.
the first visit you come and we do a podcast in Ohio, and then you could go home and say, "Ohio's amazing, guys. We need to plan a trip." And
Yeah,
then
yeah, good idea.
yeah,
Yeah, you moved to Ohio, and I think Michael was about to be one, or he was just born, or something like that. So yeah, because he's 6,
I
so
think it was,
I've
well,
I
we
haven't
moved
had a
in
chance to.
2018, May 2018.
Okay,
He
okay, he
was
just turned 1.
1, yeah. Actually, I remember when he
Yeah,
was
so
born the year before, I had all my
yeah.
eye issues, and I drove down there, and I had to wear my patch because I don't even think I've talked about any of that here on the podcast, but I'm half blind in my eye. I had this whole thing in 2016, and I had to wear my patch driving there, and it was like, okay, I could do it. I could do it. It was like a, I don't know, 8-10 hour drive, and the newborn photo shoot and being able to be there with him and you, and yeah, it was right before we moved.
Yeah.
um yeah, so we are here this week. Oh, so you had asked about money. So no, we do not pay anything. This is the first time we've ever been on vacation and didn't pack food. No food.
Oh,
I
'cause there's
packed,
food there?
no. I packed some bananas and some almonds. We packed some drinks, and we just said, you know what, we're just going to eat out all weekend. We've never done that before. It was lovely.
Oh, well,
It was my husband's birthday here at the cabin, and we're like, we went to Amish country yesterday, and we went to breakfast, and then we ate a lot of breakfast. We didn't have lunch, and we're like, we would probably spend a couple $100 on food for the weekend, like the snacks and the drinks. And we're like, well, let's just go out. And yeah, we've never done that before. So my husband had cold pizza for breakfast this morning. My daughter had a banana. I don't know. We're gonna leave here in when we're done with the podcast, we'll leave and head home. But yeah, we didn't pack any food. It's the first time. It was lovely. Not to cook,
Yeah, yeah. And less to pack.
less to pack, exactly. Although I did forget creamer. I went to the store yesterday to buy creamer for the coffee. We gotta have creamer. Do you like creamer in your coffee?
I don't need creamer, but I do need a sweetener of some sort.
Okay.
So as long as I have one packet of Truvia or Stevia or Splenda or one of those um, I'm good. I don't if there's no creamer, I don't
That's fine.
I'm fine. But if there's no packet of something sweet, I can't drink it.
I'm the opposite.
Even with creamer.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm the
You
opposite.
need creamer, you don't need the packet.
Yeah. Especially with like vanilla
Mm,
creamer is too sweet. It's sweet enough for me. So I'll use like a sweetened creamer, and I never add sugar
yeah.
to it. Or even half and half. I would prefer some half and half over some sweetener. There's some people who like their coffee black. I don't know who you people are, but that is a goal that I strive to. Like, how nice to be like, oh, just take it black. You don't need all this. I went to the store specifically to buy creamer. I was like, I didn't think to pack. We didn't pack food. I didn't pack creamer, but I need creamer.
That's actually how I got started with not with only using the packet because I was like, let me try nothing, just coffee. And I'm like, oh no, I can't. I need something.
No.
So I put a packet and I tried it of sweetener and I tried it and I was like, oh, I actually don't need creamer. This is actually okay.
Yeah.
So I if I don't use creamer, it looks like I'm drinking it black, but I did put a packet of something.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
On
That
this one, actually, I put cinnamon.
cinnamon.
Really good.
Is it a flavored coffee
Mhm.
or
Mm-mm.
okay?
No, it's just coffee, but I added cinnamon for the sweetness. Yeah,
Mhm.
and then just regular creamer.
I mean,
There's
that's
so many ways you can coffee. Do you like tea? I don't like tea.
yes.
I wish I liked tea. Tea's
I
really
know.
good for you, I heard.
So healthy. Yes, antioxidants and iced tea. We do drink a lot of tea. Chai tea. My kids love it too. We do love tea, especially in the hot months. It's nice to have like iced tea. Yeah, tea fan here.
At work, they have coffee that tastes like mud to me, and I added a gingerbread tea bag in the filter, and it flavored the gave it some flavor, and the tea was caffeine free, so it's not like I added a whole bunch of extra caffeine, but the adding the tea bag into the filter with the coffee, it changed everything, and I think I made an invention if it's not already
That does sound amazing.
exists.
I like it. I'm
Yeah.
trying to think of like a combined word for it, but I can't think that quick. It's early, way earlier for you than for me. But I get like a coffee tea. That's not a combined.
Yeah, I was like I said, I had to get up at 5, and I was nervous about our discussion today because I was like,
Awake.
I'm barely functioning right now.
But we're
But
committed.
I'm okay.
You were committed. I'm on
Yes.
vacation. She woke up at 5 to prep for this, and we want to keep the conversation going. And we hope that you guys chime in. Like, we
Yes.
want to know your thoughts on coffee and tea and vacations, and it's
Vacations,
important.
yeah. Any tips you got for us? Well, for me especially, because I'm still I'm starting out, or I'm just starting out, a 6 and 2 year old.
Yeah.
Any tips for that? I bought a canopy thing. It's not a easy up. It's a those dome canopy things on Amazon Day or Prime Day or whatever you call it, for the beach. You know how you see those in
Yeah.
dome type. I don't know what it's called. Um, and I got it. It came in, and my husband. I told him about it, and I'm like, for the beach, and he was like, we're going to the beach,
You're
and
like, let's plan it.
uh, yeah, we should. I mean, um, my daughter's never been to the beach. She's 2, and we live in California, and my son's been a couple times. So yeah, we should go to the beach.
All
I
right.
don't know.
Are we planning your
Haven't looked.
beach trip right now? So, how far are you from the beach? An hour and a half?
An hour.
An hour? Okay.
Yeah, an hour and a half.
Well, it
Oh, an hour
depends
and
on
a half.
LA
Yeah,
traffic. Could be 4 hours. You never know.
true. Yeah, no traffic, an hour. There's usually some traffic, so an hour and a half, and then if there's a car pulled over, oh my gosh. Okay, ever since like I mentioned before, we grew up in San Diego, and anytime in San Diego, anytime a car is pulled over, it on the freeway, and there's a car and someone's changing their tire or something, everyone goes about their business. There's no traffic. There's like half-hour backup, and I'm like, oh my gosh, something bad happened over here, living over here in LA County. Um, I'm thinking something horrible happened, and then we pass, and someone's changing their tire on the side of the road, and everyone, you would think it's good, everyone's being cautious. No, everyone stops to look. No one stops to help. Everyone stops to look, and then there's all this traffic. Ugh, it's frustrating.
It's frustrating.
I don't know what it's like in San Diego anymore. I haven't lived there in I don't know, 20 years, but it wasn't like that. I've heard it's getting more congested over there too.
More.
How's traffic where you live? Ohio. Is there traffic?
Oh, it says my internet connection is unstable. I am.
Oh,
I
you're
hope it doesn't
freezing.
mess with anything. Let's just see how it goes. There's some traffic. It's nothing compared to what I've experienced in San Diego and LA.
California. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there's some traffic. Just like an acceptable amount. I don't luckily at my actually so I'm working remote now, so I don't have to drive at all, but before I would drive into downtown Cleveland, um and yeah, there was hardly ever any traffic. I worked 8 to 4:30, so I'd leave at 7:30, and no, not really any traffic. Um Thinking about growing up in San Diego, that's another thing, is taking for granted what we've experienced. Like, we always went to the beach during the summers and stuff, and that was just what we did. And I never
Yeah.
appreciated it. Like, it's just, but oh, I miss the beach now. Like, I desperately miss the beach. And thinking about what
Mm,
our mom did to prepare, like, a
yes.
beach trip is a big deal. You got to grab all the things and the towels and the toys and pack the sandwiches and the snacks and the
Yes.
sunscreen, and she never made it look like it was a big deal. I never thought
Yeah.
twice about helping or doing anything, and
Yeah.
boogie boards and all the stuff. But yeah, I
Yes.
love the beach and appreciate all
Yeah,
that she did with all that, because as a mom now, we know,
me
like,
too.
oh my gosh, it's so much work thinking about going on vacation and packing everything and even day trips. Like, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, uh, we had a on Friday there was a movie night at our HOA park,
Cute.
and uh, yeah, and we had our nephew Michael's cousin join us, and I spent a good half hour making sandwiches, cutting up the fruit, the strawberries, and cleaning the grapes and getting the all everything. And we were getting close to the time, and I was noticeably stressed out.
Yeah.
And our mom never, she never, I never saw that. Or paid attention, I guess.
True.
Uh, like you
Oh,
said, she never made it a big deal. And I'm like, oh, running around. We have like, what about blankets? What about, but luckily our mom was so good at that stuff that I know what to bring.
uh-huh.
Some people are have no idea, and I know we needed a blanket. We needed drinks, water, what those little juices that the little kids drink, honest drinks, whatever they're called. And yeah, if our mom wasn't as motherly, I don't know what you call that, prepared for us all these years, I would have no idea what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
So
was a great example. Yeah. I never, that was
that's
one.
where
Cheers.
mom. Mhm.
Cheers. Do you
Yeah.
guys have any vacations planned besides the one you need to plan at the beach sometime soon?
Not with the kids, but we're gonna go to a what is it? 50th anniversary marriage wedding vow renewals in Mexico in a couple of weeks.
Oh my gosh, how fun. We're in Mexico.
I don't know. It's Mariano's thing, but yeah, I'm excited about that.
How
But
long
it
you
won't
get,
be with kids, so
even better?
that'll be nice. Huh?
I said even better.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't have any besides the beach thing, I don't have anything planned for a vacation. And you mentioned that the US is not big on time off vacations. I know Europe is like a standard 4 weeks they get. And maternity leave. If you have a baby, you get paid 12 months off.
In some countries. I
Did
don't,
you know that?
yeah. For some reason, Sweden comes to mind, but is that a whole European thing? I don't know.
True. I don't know if that's all of Europe. I've only heard some me personally have spoken to people from Europe, and we're blown away that we get 6 weeks unpaid maternity leave. Um, yeah, yeah. So I think the U.S. is just focused on
Work, work, work.
work.
Yeah, for sure. Um, how long you
I
guys gonna be gone in Mexico?
just the weekend, 2 days.
Friday to Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um, leaving Saturday, coming back Monday.
oh, okay. Oh, that's awesome. I miss
So
Mexico.
it's not really a vacation, but it's a getaway.
Yeah, and kind of a family reunion. You know what? thinking about family reunion weddings and funerals are like the times that people gather, and with my son going away to his girlfriend's family's family reunion, it got me thinking like the importance of that, of being intentional and taking the time to gather, just to gather, not for like any particular reason. I was
A
in
funeral.
a staff meeting, a staff training of maybe like a month ago, and this woman, she had said she was on her, what did she say? It was her family reunion committee, I think, trip planning committee or something. And so they pick people to be on the committee, or the people volunteer or whatever, and then they plan and they do it every year. And she said there's like 100 of them, and they plan where the next thing is going to be, and they plan their banquet night. And I asked her like a dozen questions after. Like, I love that idea of being intentional and gathering, and making it a priority for family to get together and just enjoy each other and keep those connections. Our family doesn't do that, and I want that to happen. Like, I love our family. We're all scattered around, a lot of people in California, Arizona, we're in Ohio. Like, it's important to be able to,
Texas.
Texas, yes, it's important to make that time and prepare and plan and just get together. So I'm hoping to get things going for our family. Like, we have
Yeah.
a family text thread. I threw it out there a couple weeks ago, like, hey, let's get a planning committee together. So I hope that we can get something going, because I love that idea. Plus, it makes you take a vacation. I think culturally, like you were talking about a few minutes ago, culturally, you know, our America is just work, work, work. People feel guilty to take off of work, and they don't have the time or whatever. But it's important to take time off, and that was one thing that, um, I would say our dad was a workaholic. He loved work. He worked so much, and in the end, he died of a heart attack. I think that contributed to, like, he didn't take too much time to rest, and I remember that was kind of one of the lessons when he passed away, was like, life is precious. Number one, life is precious. It's never guaranteed. But two is to take that time to rest and rejuvenate, and have fun. Because
Yeah.
he had a lot of fun, but not like vacations. I don't think he really took a lot of vacations.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
agree. And I'm I'm surprised you I'm not surprised. That's not the right word. When you brought him up, I was thinking he crossed my mind when you were talking about that.
Vacations.
What w- because he loved what he did. He loved work. So it wasn't like ah, you know, he loved it, but it did stress him out. Um and when he passed away, like where what when he passed away, I thought that's exactly what I thought was like you worked yourself to death literally.
Yeah.
I felt that way. And um what good, like when I say what good did it do, I mean his job moved on, like he put everything into his work, and then he's gone forever, and his job's not his job, but the company, moved on. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how to get this out. It's like you put so much into your work, and then that's it. If you pass away, you're replaced. Like what you give so much, or your loyalty, or whatever you want to call it. I mean, I don't mean it to say that it's a bad thing. The company has to move forward, but
Well, and the
there's
investment
no
should be in family and connections, and it kinda goes back to, like, the family gathering and reunions and the time that we take for vacations and making those memories with our family and our legacy and what's really important, not the work, but our family and our children, and,
right.
um, yeah, yeah, that
Yes.
was a full
The
circle thought
what
there.
the impact you make in your family.
Yeah,
Yes, I agree.
yeah,
Exactly. That's what
yeah,
I thought of when you said that. So when you brought him up, I was like, yes, that's what I feel the same way. I
yeah.
agree.
That was the lesson of like, yeah, I felt like he worked himself to death. He did have high blood pressure, so he did have like a health condition. It wasn't out of, I mean, it was out of nowhere. It was managed through medication and stuff. But the high blood pressure, even more reason to take vacations and rest and relax. And
Yeah.
yeah, so that was one thing that I took away was like, uh, don't work ourselves to death. And I remember us having that conversation after he died around that time about like you were, because you also have high blood pressure and in the same like, right, or you did,
Yeah.
okay. You talked about that a couple episodes ago about being pregnant with high blood pressure, but you also have high blood pressure. It's genetic, and but also you're in the same line of work too, and you feel the pressures of needing to get the job done. And I think that's a culture like workaholic. It's kind of like a badge of honor, like, oh, I work 50, 60 hours this week, or I'm committed to my job and moving up the ladder. And it, but there's so many more important things than work, like family and family reunions. So any of our family who's watched, we haven't really shared this podcast with very many people, but any of our family
Yeah.
members, we're going to plan a family reunion. And how fun if we could do a
Mhm.
podcast during the family reunion. That would be amazing. Okay, that's on my bucket list now.
That would be amazing.
My bucket- Do you have a bucket list?
No,
Things that you okay.
no.
So after daddy died, actually that is when it really was like there's so many things that whenever a loved one dies, you think about all these things. Like you just never know when is your last day and your last breath, and mortality and heaven and earth and what do I want to get out of life and values and what's most important. Like those were all the things that I was thinking about after he passed away. And so I did start a bucket list. I actually have it in my purse. I typed it out. And I love talking with people about their bucket list. And I'm so surprised that, first of all, my husband doesn't have one. He's so sweet, though. What he says is, I want to help you accomplish your bucket list. So that's his bucket list. I'm like, think of your own things. So, what do you want to do in life? So, I do. I have probably like 15 to 20 things that I want to do. And I'm really surprised whenever I ask people and they say they don't have a bucket list. Michelle, like, are there things that you just want to do in your life that maybe you don't think of it as a bucket list? Or I'm a dreamer. So I love to daydream about just the future. And so that is just part of me. Not everybody's like that. I understand that. Oh,
I no, I'm just trying to get day to day.
day to day. Bucket list,
Yeah.
survive today.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is definitely valid. You are doing something on my bucket list that I still haven't done. I think I told you one time when we went to your wine club to pick up your wine. I was like, oh, this is on my bucket list. I want to be a wine club member. I know it's so silly, like, but I just haven't done it. I want to. I can't justify spending the money, I guess, or it feels selfish or whatever, but I want to be a wine club member. Stupid little stuff. I love I anyways.
I mean, I don't know. I'm a member of like a small mom and pop winery. It's $20 a month, so it's not like I don't know how much other ones are, but
Yeah.
it's not crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'm going to become a wine club member of your winery. Like, oh, sorry, honey. I got to go down and get my wine in LA. I'll be back on Monday. Yeah. I do love just the dreaming of things. Oh, for Mother's Day, JR, my husband did get me something off of my bucket list. I've always wanted to race a car. So he bought me this car racing experience on a racetrack. I get to do it in September. I was just so sweet and thoughtful that he got that was probably one of the first few
I
things on
didn't
my bucket list. Yes. I don't know what kind of car
I
it is.
didn't know that.
Sister confessions. Oh, it was so
That's
sweet.
amazing.
Yes, he bought me a bucket list journal because he knows I just love my bucket list and daydream about things that I want to do. So he bought me a journal, and in the journal was like the plans or receipt or the email printout about racing a car. And I mean, there are Lamborghinis and all these super fancy cars that I could care less. I'm not a car person. I'm a drive fast person, and my speeding ticket history can prove that. But yeah, so it's a super nice car. I don't know what it is. Yeah, so I get to do that in September. So that was just so thoughtful.
I oh my gosh, that's okay. Yeah,
You
that's
would
on my
love to
bucket
do that.
list.
All right, is that number one?
Yes,
Race a car? Race a Lamborghini
yes,
or like your dream
yes,
car? Okay, good.
yes.
Good. I just love hearing about what people want to do in their life. Like in talking with different people, first of all, one of my dear friends in Sacramento, she also said she didn't have a bucket list. And I'm like, there's nothing that you want to do. And she's like, well, actually, there is something. She said, I guess every year for Christmas, the White House accepts applications or something for people to decorate it. I didn't know anything about this. And I was like, you would want to do that? She's like, that'd be so fun to go to the White House and decorate it for Christmas. I'm like, that's on my anti bucket list, but I love hearing different people's interests. There was a coworker years ago, and she said that she wanted to be a mascot at like some kind of game where she could put on the whole costume and dance around and no one would know that it's her. And I'm like, that is so fun. It's my favorite topic. I ask almost everybody whenever I'm talking with them, like, do you have a bucket list? What's on your bucket list? So anyways, I went during our quick little break, I went and got my bucket list from my wallet. It's all tattered, it's in my wallet. I've had it for several years. And so on it, I don't know if you remember. So we have this special holiday called Love Day, April 18th every year. We do little gifts that we send to our loved ones. And one year I did create this template of a bucket list. Um, and I sent it to everybody. And number one on there, I filled in their bucket list to visit the Revels in Ohio, is what I put. I don't know if you remember that. Okay, I'm not going to put you on the spot. It's okay. It was unmemorable. But anyway, so on the top, I said, life is a gift and the world is our playground. 2017 is when I created this. And number one on my bucket list is race a car. That's it. Number one. So I'll get to do that. A few things that I have on here is get a passport. I ended up getting one in 2000. I've never had a passport. Serve on an international mission trip. I've checked that off. I auditioned for America's Got Talent. That's on my bucket list. I was able to check that off. And so it's, no pressure. It's no like, I need to get this done. And here it is, become a wine club member. That's on my bucket list too. I haven't checked that off yet, but yeah, just there's so many incredible things that we could do. And I love hearing about people, just different people's interests and passions, and like the life is a gift and the world is our playground. Like what can we do with it? Okay, this lighting is messing up. So yeah, so
I love it all. I love it all.
number one on your bucket list, race a car.
Yes. That's my number one. Yeah.
Maybe we can.
Number two, go to Hawaii. I never been there. Oh, here we go. Go to Hawaii for the Ram Dass retreat. They have retreats there.
Class retreat.
Yes.
Okay. Yearly or what?
Oh, that would be amazing
No,
to
I mean,
go
do they do it yearly?
yearly. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they do it every year in
Okay.
August. Or wait, December. Either August or December. I forgot which month. Yeah, that would be number two. Are you writing it down for me?
I'm keeping note.
It looks
Yes.
like you're writing something down.
I'm left-handed. No.
Ah.
But I do have on my list, I don't really want to share my list too much, but conferences on here. I do want to go to more conferences. Personal growth,
Like
spiritual.
what? Mm.
So what I wrote down was conferences, photography, entrepreneurial, personal growth, networking, spiritual growth, art, Bob Goff, and South by Southwest. I just did examples. I don't know. Yes. Yeah, I love that. And so like once you kind of speak it out there and write it out, like let's make it happen. It's a dream, it's a bucket list. There's a movie called Bucket List. Have you seen it?
Yes, with Morgan Freeman and I
That
forgot
guy.
the other person's name.
That guy, he's like, "You.
But yeah, I've
You're
seen it.
good. You're good." What is that
Yeah.
guy's name?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, guy. Anyways, yeah, that's a I do love that movie, and I love the whole concept of like, I mean, see, things are super ambitious on my list, like travel to Jerusalem. I would love to. Travel is a big thing of mine, but oh, another thing on my bucket list um, is to go on the Amazing Race. I love that show. Have you seen it?
I've seen it. Yeah.
I love that show
Well,
because they get to travel the world.
do they still have it? I remember it being popular 20 years ago.
Um, we don't watch cable TV, so I have no idea. I'm sure they do. I I'm not sure. I think they do. I would love to go on the Amazing Race. So even I told my husband, I said, for our 20th wedding anniversary, let's apply for the Amazing Race. But it also gives me a ton of anxiety. Like I'm horrible at direction. Everyone always gets lost. I'm like I would
Yeah.
not be the navigator. Like I would lose but you just never know. Like you never know what the anyways, I would love to be on that show, Amazing Race. Oh, actually, the cabin that we're staying at, our cousin Bobby, him and his wife applied for the Amazing Race. I think even before they got married, a long time ago. They had interviews and stuff. I love it. I love that show. Traveling and doing stuff. If I brought JR, I've talked with him about it. Like, and my son, we've watched multiple seasons together. um I was like, well, maybe when my son turns 18, it could be like a mother son trip, but I'd win with my husband. Like, JR is just great at everything. So he'd be like, eh, something super silly too. When am doing my workouts and stuff and running or whatever I'm doing, I'm like, okay, I'm going to start training for the Amazing Race. Like, that's my in the back of my head. Like, okay, I got to have stamina. I got to have strength. I got to, silly stuff in my head about motivation. Speaking about motivation, it's a hard thing to instill in our kids, isn't it? Like helping them
Yes.
persevere when they don't want to.
Yeah.
Because I know I have a hard enough time doing it myself. What do you think about
Right. I love you, Desiree.
that?
um, I just love that rant you were just went on, and you're like, speaking of, um, yeah, I struggle with that too, especially with myself. I mean, I hate the mornings, and I can't wait till I work on that to where I wake up and I woke up, like, I'm grateful to wake up. I'm not there yet. I wake up and my first thought is, "Oh," that's my first thought. And I don't wanna be like that. Um, so I know that growing up for myself, and I spoke about it before, of my struggles of, depression, I never wanted to do anything ever. I just wanted to crawl in the hole. Um, but our mom made me do everything. And when I say everything, I mean school and extracurricular things that I didn't want to do any of it. And she made me, and I hated every second of it. And my whole life, to where now I do things because I have to, but I know people that don't do things because they don't want to, and they don't get anywhere in life. And I think I would be one of those people if it wasn't for our mom, um, making me do everything she made me do.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm very grateful for that. And I see that in my son, not the depression part, but he just wants to be inside the house all day, every day. He wants to be home. He doesn't want to go anywhere. And when I say anywhere, I mean he's a homebody. He doesn't want to go anywhere ever. And yesterday, he didn't want to go to we went to the pool, like I mentioned, and he's like, I just want to stay home. Can I just stay home? And I'm like, no, we're going to the pool and you're coming with us. And he we were there, and he was you know at the table, didn't want to be there. And then eventually he got in the pool and he had a blast.
Yeah.
And then when we got home, he said he didn't have fun. He said he didn't have fun and it was the worst day ever, even though I saw him having fun. Yeah, I struggle with that. Also yesterday he wanted to watch TV, and he needed a ticket, right? We do, that's the ticket, remember?
Yeah.
And he's like, I need a ticket. And I said, well, help me fold the laundry. And he's like, oh, you get the uhs all the time from the kids. And I said, okay, then you don't get a ticket. But I wanted to give in so bad because I heard him,
Set it
complaining. And
up.
I also want to I tell him, you got to give him tough love, but I also don't want him to always see me like angry, like I have to be stern, but to him, mommy's always mad, and I don't want that either. Like I got to push him, but I don't want to push him scolding him. But then they don't listen unless you sound mean. And then he tells me, why are you always mad? And I'm like, I'm not mad. You don't listen until I sound mad. And it's so, that's where I'm at with this.
I
You got any words of wisdom? Because you have older kids.
I saw this great meme where I've seen it. in a variety of ways written, where it's like the kids only listen when you scream. They don't hear you the 20 times that you told them nicely or asked them nicely before. It's like, can you please do this? Can you please do that?
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. And that's when they listen. But it's like,
Yeah.
you didn't hear when I wasn't mad, like I've asked you.
Yeah.
It is hard. Especially I remember thinking about our mom and your challenges. And I remember so many times, like, she would tuck me in and you were crying that night, I don't want to go to school. And I remember saying to her, I don't think you ever knew this, because she was tucking me in, like, why can't you just let her stay home, or can you homeschool her? I just felt so bad for you that you didn't want to go to. And so not only was she getting it from you of like crying, not wanting to go to school, or all those things, but also from me too,
Yeah.
like, just let her stay home. Just, can you figure out how to homeschool her? Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
um but like you said, like, we need to encourage and support our kids to work through it, to be able to be functional, contributing adults in society. And
Adult.
because of her perseverance and saying, this is what you have to do, I'm sure it was difficult for her too, like seeing her kid upset and not wanting to do it. But because of that, like, you're incredibly successful, and look at how far you've come, and look at what you've endured. And it was those things that she instilled in us growing up that you're taking into your
Yeah.
adulthood. um
Right.
I remember, my our daughter was
Another shout out to mom. Another.
I remember our she played softball for the first time last year, and she hated it. Like, her feet hurt and it was hot, and like, and what's so hard is when kids first start something, not kids, usually anybody, when you first start something,
Anybody.
suck at
Yeah.
it. Like, and then it's, how do you
Yeah.
like push through that? How do you, like, you haven't even learned enough to be able to be good. You don't know if you're going to be good or bad. You're still learning. And I wanted to let her quit. Like, she absolutely hated it, but no, you made a commitment, and you're part of a team, and a ton of pep talks, a ton of encouragement, and reminding her, like, it's just a few more weeks and you're learning a lot of skills. And it kind of reminds me about the conversation we had. I think it was on a podcast about your son having a hard time in kindergarten, and he just wasn't learning, but he was in the process of learning it, and it was difficult in the process. So it's just reminding
Yeah.
them, like, look at what you've already learned. Look at just a ton of pep
Yeah.
talk and encouraging
Right.
through the time, because it's hard whenever you just don't know the skills, or just when you're in the midst of learning it, it's super difficult. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that, because it is a
Yeah.
challenge.
Um, yeah. I mentioned the last time how much he hates to go to karate. And yesterday he told me, oh, this past week he missed karate because um, he has it 3 times a week. One time there they had to cancel it for something, and then the things happened last week where he missed. So he missed a week. And yesterday he's like, he told me, hit me. And I'm like, so I tap him, I do that. He's like, no, hit me hard. And I said, Michael, that's what karate's for. That's why you're in karate. And like, I think he missed it. You
Yeah,
know, it
yeah.
was been a week, he hasn't gone, and he needed to feel the
Challenge,
ugh, like he needed
the
he
outlet.
needed something. Yeah. And I was like, see, that's why we're and then he opened something, a box, and he punched it open, and I was like, If you weren't in karate, you wouldn't know how to do that." He's like,
Right.
"You do it." I said, "I can't. I'm not in karate. I don't know how to do that."
That's cute.
So, stuff like that would be my way of, like, encouraging him or reminding him, "See, you do like it," or "Look, you or I tell him stuff like that, and I'm like, "You're strong. See how strong you are because of karate." And he's like, "I don't wanna be strong." Like, "Yes, yes, you do. You're saying that, but"
Do.
um, so I guess what I'm trying to say is, I'm encouraging him, like, just with things in life. So it's not just that day when he has to go, but reminding him throughout other situations and saying, "Well, you're good at this because of this," or "Look, you're learning." Because all summer he's been asking me math questions. Because he's he got good at math, and then I remind him, "Look, you learned this from school, and you're so good at it." And then he goes into, "No, I don't know. But he likes it deep down, I think." Right?
Right. I'm sure
I
it's
hope.
a battle. Like he's like, I like to
Yeah,
learn and I like that I know this stuff now, but growing is painful. That's why they call it growing pains.
yeah,
And
yeah,
same thing with my daughter too. Like she just gets so frustrated, like exasperated, and just like will throw her paper off. Like I don't know this. I'm like, but you know what you do know?
yeah,
You had to learn that, and it was hard to learn what you already know. So once you know, like you're learning it, there's all these things in your mind that are connecting, and you're it's hard to learn it right now, but once you learn it, then you're going to learn more. And so challenging children is important and good, and it's hard for us to help keep them on track because like you just don't want to, as a parent we want to rescue them and make it easy for them, but
yes,
that does them
yes,
no service in life. Like if we're
right,
there's this great
right.
training that we went through. I bought the CDs. So when our son was younger, there were CDs and read the book. It's called Love and Logic. And it's this beautiful modality about keeping kids responsible. Like this is your responsibility. And if you don't tend to it, I'm sorry, there's consequences for your behavior. And there's even a component of even setting them up for failure. Like failure is good for children when they're in our care because then we can help guide them and teach them on how to deal with it and what lessons to learn. Once they're 18, there's more severe consequences for their behavior. And yeah, so that's always been Love and Logic has always been kind of in the back of my mind as I've been raising the kids about um their consequences for their choices and actions and good and bad, and highlighting that for them and reminding them because with my daughter now, like she just hates doing chores, and we implemented the token system again to earn her electronic time, but uh, she just, well, never mind, I don't want electronic time. Like she would rather not have electronic
Yes,
time than load the dishwasher or pick up dog poop or whatever we have on our
yeah,
toilets. Like, well, you still have your responsibilities, so helping them through that and holding them accountable. And it's so hard, like
yeah,
I said, because we just want our kids to be happy and comfortable, but that's doing them no service whatsoever. That's not real life. That's not preparing them for adulthood. And
yeah,
it's exhausting being a parent. And
yeah,
any parents out there, we would love your tips and feedback and info about how to help our kids
yeah,
persevere, tips and tricks that you've used. Like we want to keep this discussion open, and we're not experts. We're just having a conversation.
no,
If things
not
have
at
helped
all.
you, we would love to hear what you have to say about it because it's about building community and keeping the conversation open and being honest and authentic about our challenges. We're not here like, oh, we have the answers for everything. That's the opposite of why we started this conversation. Is, Michelle and I would have really deep, intense, beautiful conversations over the past 2 years, and like, I think there needs to be more authenticity in the world, and not this like glamorized look at,
Look at
look
my
what I've
yeah,
done. Yes, it's not life, and we're not, that's not how we learn and grow, and we're authentic, and we have challenges in our lives, and we want to open it up for discussion. So
yeah. Yeah, one thing, just to add to what you're saying, I do appreciate you at telling any listeners to chime in because I would appreciate any input on this because it's very challenging. One thing my son does ask me, I think daily, is when I'm a grown up, I could do anything I want. And I say, well, you still have to follow rules, but pretty much, yeah. But you still gotta, and he's just waiting for that day where he doesn't have to answer to anyone, I guess. But our job, my job right now, and I don't want to say job, my responsibility right now is to guide him so that I am that, not me personally, but whatever I guide him with is that still small voice in his head when he's a grown up. So he doesn't really do whatever he wants, right? Because you could get in a lot of trouble that way. Um, like you mentioned before, as adults, there's failures as an adult. The consequences are a lot greater than when you're a child and you could be guided with your parents. Um, so my responsibility is to give him a sound reasoning, still small voice in his head for whenever he's a grown up to help him navigate life. Because
it's hard.
who else is gonna do it?
Yeah.
And you want to guide them right. Uh, you want to instill confidence. You want to also um not just confidence, but cautious. But I don't want him scared of every little thing. Yeah, it's a balance.
And good healthy habits too. Actually, my husband and I are right in the middle of this. We talked this morning in bed before we started this podcast. Oh my gosh, Michelle, so many things about this. Like, what kids grow up with is what they know, and
Yeah.
it's important, all of these little decisions, all these little things that we allow or don't allow, uh, teaching them how to be healthy. Okay, we were on vacation. Obviously, I told you that we didn't buy any food. So we went to breakfast yesterday, and my daughter got pancakes and eggs and bacon and hash browns, and we all gorged ourselves. We all ate and felt yucky after. Like it was just like we ate too much.
Mm.
And when we were on the car drive to Amish country, I was talking to her about like what you feed your body affects you, and what you feed your mind affects you too. Like you have the option, you
Yeah.
could have it's okay once in a while, but if you choose to eat, sugary cereal every day or pancakes every day, that's not feeding your body good food. But when you have smoothies, we're really into breakfast smoothies for breakfast. When you have smoothies, how does your body feel? Like you feel good. And although sometimes the pancakes are tempting, you know that you're going to feel good having a healthy breakfast. And that's the same thing with your mind too. What you allow into your mind, the Bible tells us we need to guard our mind, we need to guard our hearts. and what you allow into your mind and your heart also affects how you think as well. The music you listen to, the movies you watch, and so we have
Yeah.
control over what our 10-year-old is exposed. We have control, minimal, I guess, control over what she's exposed to. But what happens when they're 18? And I worry about that about my son too. When he's 18 and the parental controls are off on everything, we hope that what we've instilled in him is he can feel the difference.
Right.
He can feel like, okay, hey, I'm gonna let loose for, I'm gonna try this and dabble with that. And that's a normal part of growing up. And but hopefully how we raised him and what he experienced, that he can revert back to, no, I know that this isn't right for me, or I grew up in this way and in this environment, and I see how that's influencing me now. Or oh my gosh, there's so much about that. We were just talking about it this morning. Bless you.
Sorry.
I feel allergic to these conversations too. It's exhausting. I'm a part of a few Facebook groups um for like tech parenting in this tech world, and there's this one page I follow called Officer Gomez, and he is phenomenal. He's like a school resource officer, and so he's exposed to a lot of this stuff. Anyways, he did this post a couple weeks ago about it was don't I just read it to JR this morning. This morning. It was like, don't cut your kids six don't cut the corners or something. Anyways, he was saying 6 feet.
Mhm.
Don't cut your kid 6 feet short or something like that. And like when you build a house, you do everything to specs. Like you wouldn't lay down a floor and say, oh, it's 6 feet
Oh,
short, that's fine, whatever. You wouldn't do trimming and be like, oh, it's
yeah.
6 feet short. And just as important whenever we're raising our kids, like don't allow your kids to cut the 6 feet short. Like you not wanting to just go to school. If our mom was like, oh, okay, that's fine. I know you're having a hard time, and didn't teach you perseverance, didn't instill those values in you, didn't push you, who knows where
Yeah.
you would be in life. Like
Right.
she did not cut the 6 feet
Exactly.
short. She made sure, and that's our responsibility as parents, is to, and it's easy, like,
Yeah.
yeah, sure, go watch electronics and go spend, melt your mind and go get these influences. And it's easy for us, like plenty of times I want to cut my kid 6 feet short of that. Like we have to be intentional of and
Yeah.
mindful about what habits we're building for them. And I could go on and on. It's a
Mhm.
passion of mine with kids and electronics and the influence in their brains and their habits. And we've allowed our son to keep his cell phone in his room at night. He's 16 now, I've said many times, but I feel bad about that. I should have never let that happen. Like he should have checked in his phone at night at an appropriate time, whatever time that was, 9, 10 o'clock, and went to bed without the cell phone right next to his bed. As us as adults too, like creating those boundaries for technology is super hard for me, and even harder to impose on my kids. And so it's a evolving thing of, but it's never too late. I think the point is it's never too late. If we've made mistakes in the past with parenting our kids, we can always rein it back in and create healthy boundaries for them so they know, what it's like to experience it. The healthy boundary side. It's super difficult in the beginning, just like starting a new habit. It's super difficult, but we need to persevere. Kind of going back to teaching our kids perseverance, we as parents need to persevere in maintaining those
Yeah.
boundaries.
Yeah. I started not started it's been since my daughter's been born. I watch a movie with my son to go to bed while my husband puts our daughter to sleep. we started doing that because my son started school when she was, so he needs to be laying down by a certain time. But to do that, I put on a movie. But guess what? Now he can't sleep without the TV,
Yeah.
because and who anyone that's anybody that there's a lot of people that can't sleep without the TV because of that. And I'm like, oh man, I'm starting to read to him instead, uh, books for instead of a TV, and it's going well, but he still has that I need to watch something, and it 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 happens so like you said, it's so easy to just okay, I'll put on a movie so I can get him relaxed and go to sleep. And I mean, movie for bedtime should be like Friday nights only, or like a special occasion, not every night. And who knows what that does to your sleep, right? They say the the lights from the TV doesn't your body doesn't get the rest. I've heard. I don't know if that's true, but
Yeah, they say like
yeah,
1 to 2 hours,
it's hard
no electronics because of the blue light or whatever.
before bed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's such a good point of
yeah.
like survival. Like you had a newborn baby. It was not a long-term intention. When you started watching the movie with your son in bed, it was like bonding time for you guys, and it's what you guys did to get through the days and the nights and a new habit. But there's like these long-term unintended consequences that it's
Yeah.
um same thing for my daughter. So exact same thing. We put podcasts on for her to listen at night. It started with Bible stories, and I thought that was fine. She can listen to Bible stories at night as she goes to sleep. And then she listened to like all
Mhm.
200 episodes and was bored with that, and she wanted a new podcast. But then it's like she needs podcasts to go to sleep. She needs to hear something. And there's, what were
Mhm.
these habits or these things that we're instilling in our kids, or exposing them to, or
Mhm.
solidifying, or whatever, like it sticks with them.
Yeah,
And it never intended to be you need to listen to something to go to bed. It was just a nice podcast. It was Bible stories. Now she
right.
listens to these other podcasts that aren't soothing, and I don't know, she listens to more
Oh,
about, these, like, kid stories, and it's not bad, it's all for kids, but it's animated and amped up, and she loves them, and she listens to them at night, but that's not, like, good soothing, go to sleep. Like, she could lay in bed for an hour listening to 'em.
right,
It's not a good habit, and
right.
it's our responsibility to help teach them good habits, but yeah,
Mhm.
it's exhausting. It's trial and error. You know what? We've had 2 kids, and I remember a couple years ago, I was telling my husband, I'm like, "Well, if we have 1 more, maybe we'll get it right. Like, we've learned so much from the first, we got better with the second, just we'll get it right for the 3rd time." Yeah, it's we're learning as we go.
Yeah, I
Right.
think that's why grandparents love their grandkids so much, because
They're done.
they they're done, but they can enjoy them.
Yes.
It's not so I get it now.
Right. Yeah. All right, Michelle. Well, any other thoughts about any of the things?
Um, no, we're good. I do though. I want to encourage any of the listeners to give us some feedback on this and any other ones, and keep the conversation going, because
Oh,
I know we're not the only ones, and that's exactly why we wanted to do this, because these conversations are not out there like I think they should, because everyone puts out great things. This It's all good to put out great things, but just the everyday stuff isn't really talked about on our struggles, and that's why we're doing this. So yeah, keep commenting and let us know any tricks and tips. I love how you say that, Desiree. Uh, to comment and tell us what you do with your vacations with children and motivations with your kids and how to motivate them without no, you have to do this type thing. Cause I don't know how else to get through to him, but he thinks I'm mad and I'm not. I'm just trying to make him do something that he doesn't want to do. And I know I talk about my son a lot, but it's because my daughter's 2 and she's not at those stages yet. She has her own stuff that but I know I talk about him a lot, and it's because he's in school now, and this is just where I'm at in my life.
Right, and he's being challenged a lot more than a 2-year-old is, absolutely, with what he's going through.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right, well, it looks like the sun is on you. You're gonna probably start melting
yeah,
soon. Um, yes, please, I just wanna say again, just what you said, over our conversations, it was
yeah,
like, well, no one's really talking about the challenges and these things, and so we just want to, it's an
yeah,
open conversation. So if you're having struggles and challenges in these areas, please chime in. Let us know, what we can talk about next time or in the future. We want to build a community
yeah,
of authenticity and encouragement and mindfulness and just living our best life and being intentful with the lives that we've been gifted. So, well, good. Michelle, stay cool today. Good luck, and we will chime in a week and see where the conversation takes us next week. So I will talk to you soon, Michelle.
okay,
All right.
bye.
Bye.